Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We have another golf ball review for you today, and we have the Callaway Chrome Soft XLS. Interesting, so we're actually continuing along our Callaway line. I have not done the X yet because it has to be an on-course text. But overall, so this golf ball I had not heard of. I know it's kind of newish, the last year or two. But essentially the LS stands for low spinning. So what this is it's a firmer golf ball designed for higher swing speeds, but it's not going to be as spinny as your regular Chrome Soft X. The Chrome Soft X, from what I've heard, is one of the most spinningest golf balls you can get. And this golf ball is more of a distance golf ball for maybe if you're getting too much spin, which is a problem for some golfers. I know it doesn't seem like it would be that way, but some golfers swing really fast and they compress the golf ball really well and they get way too much spin, and you don't want that. Sometimes you want a little more distance. So that's where this comes into play. But how is this going to be for your average medium golfer who has a 92-mile-an-hour swing speed? That's what we'll find out. So first, let's dive into the design of the golf ball. I won't touch on it too much because Callaway has, the triple track system. Callaway also has a great logo, Old English style. I love it. I've touched on it on every video. This one feels really good. Nice urethane coating. Callaway has poured a lot of money into the design of their golf ball, and it shows. It's really good. Now, this one did not have a great alignment tool on the side. This just has your basic, Chrome Soft, as you can see there. So what we're going to do is we are going to put the Golf Dot on there. We're going to put the Golf Dot alignment tool that they were nice enough to send me. That way now, as you can see, that improves it quite a bit, and so now we're going to be able to line up our putts a lot better. So overall, really good design. Callaway's been knocking it out the park with that. So let's get out to the chipping and putting green. Let's see how we did out there. Okay, so feeling with the putter with the Callaway Chrome Soft XLS, it actually does feel really soft, especially for being an X model golf ball. I don't think it's quite as firm as the X. I definitely will check that for sure, but off the putter, it feels really buttery. It actually reminds me of just the regular Chrome Soft pretty well, and which is really cool that Callaway's done that, because even people who like to play the more firmer golf balls, they don't always want a really firm feel with their putter, and I don't blame them. So this one does a really good job of feeling pretty buttery, and it has a really nice roll. All right, so the low spinning model does kind of live up to that hype that it tells it does. It doesn't spin as much as the Chrome Soft does for sure. It feels a little clicky coming off. It does feel more like a next golf ball. It's probably right in the middle. It's actually more of a firm press, so it's not super clicky, but you might have heard that a second ago. It definitely is a little louder than most golf balls, but it does feel pretty good, and it still actually does spin quite a bit, but just not as much as that Chrome Soft did, and I think that's just because it is the low spinning model. A lot of the time when you have a four-piece golf ball, you really got to swing a lot faster in order to get that high spin out of it, and that makes sense here. But still really impressive, and honestly, it still feels pretty good, even by my standard. Okay, so overall feel definitely with all the clubs is kind of a medium, to be honest with you. It feels definitely a little firmer than the Chrome Soft does, the regular Chrome Soft. Now, as far as the X, I'm not sure yet. I haven't reviewed that golf ball. I have to do an on-course test with it, so I'm unfamiliar of how exactly it corresponds to that. But overall, medium feel. It feels pretty good, though. It does have a little bit of spring in it. It definitely doesn't come off dead, and even with a slower swing speed, I kind of expected it to. All right, so we know how it feels. Let's go ahead and go back inside, and let's get down to those numbers and see exactly how well those numbers did. All right, so with a firmer golf ball, usually what I have happened in the past is I expect the short irons to not be as good, and then as we get into the hybrid and the driver, I expect it to form a little bit better. That's just usually how these firmer golf balls go, just because I don't swing fast enough to compress them, especially with my short irons. But let's see how that is. Getting into the 9-iron, 88.3 on your ball mile per hour speed. So yeah, see, there you go, already off to a bad start. 120.8 on your total distance. That's definitely low. 113.1, very low. 25, it actually launched pretty high. That's kind of interesting. Usually these firmer golf balls have a tendency to launch lower, but this one launched high. So, I do expect usually these firmer golf balls to not go as far and to not compress as well, but that's a pretty low number. It's pretty disappointing to start out with. Getting into the 7, though, we have 6,170. So it is true. It is actually a lower spinning golf ball, which is good. That's what it's designed to do. 104.8, boy, that's really low. 155.6, 143.5, those numbers are real low. And then actually, okay, so now it did launch very low with the 7-iron. That's one of the lowest launches I've had in a while. And I obviously didn't get much spin, and I didn't get much distance either, and that all kind of corresponds. So a little disappointing there. Obviously I said a minute ago that I usually don't get good numbers with those clubs, but not that low. That's very disappointing. It would be very difficult to have to remember on the golf course to take 10 yards off per shot until you get to a certain point on the irons. You really want consistency, and so far that would be a deal breaker for me. But let's keep going. Maybe it'll redeem itself. Let's see, 4,520 with the spin on the RPMs. So that's actually a high spinning golf ball there. And then 118, good ball mile per hour speed, very good, 191.3. That number is just average, maybe because of the high swing speed, or the high spin, excuse me, 177.5 average again. And then, oh, there it is, 16.6. So a very high launch here. So now, interesting enough, we had a high launch, then we had a low launch, now we have another high launch. I don't like that much inconsistencies in my golf ball, unfortunately, but I will say that it did spin quite a bit. I'm going to be able to stick a green with this golf ball, so I do like that. With the hybrid, that's a rare thing to do, and so that part's good. But again, it's a low spinning golf ball, so the fact that I had one of the highest spins with the hybrid, not exactly sure what's going on there. Let's get into the driver and see what we found there. So we got 2,871 on your spin. That's about average. 248 on your distance, so that's actually really good. That's really good. 136.9. Okay, those numbers are phenomenal. 227.8, 16.4. Okay, so again, a high launch. That makes no sense. So we've had one low launch. I would say it's probably a high golf ball, a high launching golf ball. I would say probably the 7-iron might have been a little bit of a fluke. It might have been more of a medium is what it should have been. So some interesting numbers all over the place. I'll get to what it all means in just a second. I do want to touch on the durability, but looking at the golf ball, to be honest with you, it feels really good. Callaway's done a wonderful job with their durability. There is a couple scratches here and there, so it's not perfect. It's maybe a 4 out of 5 or a 4.5 out of 5, but overall it did really well. I've tested this golf ball to heck and back. It probably had closer to 90 shots, to be honest with you, because I did a lot of chipping and putting with it and a lot of green work. But overall, still really good. Honestly, really impressive. It should last you through a round, no problem at all. So then getting into what the numbers mean. Well, first of all, the golf ball isn't intended for me, so I'm not going to beat it up too much, but it is at a price point of $49.99 a dozen. And anytime you have a golf ball that expensive, I usually have to grade it pretty hard. But I will say this, I did enjoy using this golf ball. It does have a really good feel to it. It does, there's a lot of things you can tell that went into it that Callaway really tried hard. They're really trying to get a lower spinner model out there, and I think it actually does make sense. I don't think it saturates the market. I think this is something they needed, something that, if you're getting way too much spin, you can take a little bit off, but I'm not sure all the numbers are really consistent there as far as my swing goes. So what I would say is that, is there a market here? Maybe a small one. I would say that if you're a very fast swinger, 110, 115, you love Callaway golf balls, you've played the Chrome Soft, but maybe you play the Chrome Soft X, maybe you play a TP5X, something like that. But maybe you spin it too much. Maybe you're like, you know what, I've been getting way too much spin. My golf ball is coming back 3 or 4 yards on the green. I don't want that much spin. I want more distance. I'm playing on long courses. I need a little more distance. I would at least give it a try, but I'd be careful. I'd buy maybe a sleeve first. I don't know if I'd buy a whole dozen just off the rip, because then you're $50 in. Unless $50 doesn't matter to you, then sure, go ahead. But for most golfers like me, that's a lot of money to invest in a maybe. So just try to get one sleeve of them. You can usually get a sleeve for like 15 bucks. That'd be a lot easier to swallow. But I think it is worth a try because it did feel good, and honestly, I enjoyed using the golf ball. Callaway's doing a lot of things right, and I think that it is a golf ball in the future. They're going to continue to do more things right. So overall, keep watching and keep saving, guys. I appreciate you being here. Until next time.